There we go, Jazzy. All right, so now you have to just turn your camera sideways just so we're on the same, other way. Just we're on the same page. There we go.
Is it right?
Yep, that's right. This your first time getting on Join Live?
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm glad to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm in this like creative space, which I think is really cool that we're doing this today because I'm having my art show soon, so it's just been like a rush of a lot of things to do, but like all of them
all happening at once.
They're all related to like my purpose.
Oh.
Like getting into. So and I'm like finding it. So it's like really cool that I'm doing this today because I'm like, wow, I can like talk about
we could talk about all that. Your purpose, how it is organizing an art show. We're going to touch all of that if we have the time.
Okay, cool.
All right, and I see Tavana. Hello, it's Tavana. You just joined. Welcome to Talented Tuesdays. We're going to get started right now, actually. This is Talented Tuesdays, Instagram and friends. I'm your host, QuiySpeaks, aka Mr. 215-305. Talented Tuesdays is brought to you by the GoldenKey Foundation, developing leaders one step at a time. As you can see, we have our lovely guest. She goes by the name of Snazzy Jazzy on Instagram. She's a dancer and artist. Do you consider yourself a creative? I just started to hear this term used when I moved down here. There's like a whole band of people that go at that. They call themselves creatives. I think that's what they call themselves. Yeah, creatives. So definitely gonna start using that word more often.
I identify myself as a creator.
Okay. So Jazzy, real quick, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you like to do, and just introduce yourself real quick for the audience.
So I'm Jasmine Carter. My artist name is Jasmine Marielle, and my nickname is Snazzy Jazzy. That's like what I go by. But I'm from Maplewood, New Jersey, and I went to Cheney University. And after college, I stayed in Philadelphia and was just kind of discovering like a new me. So I went through a lot of changes, of course, like graduating college into like adulthood. And I've always been a dancer, like as a kid. I've been dancing since I was 5. But in terms of a painter, I discovered that I'm an abstract painter like 3 years ago. So this journey has been like really interesting because I used to just say like, oh, I just do this. Oh, I just do that. But now it's becoming who I am. And it's more like, hi, I'm Snazzy Jazzy. Like I'm a dancer, I'm a painter, I'm a creator. So I'm more confident in how I introduce myself. So that's who I am. Yeah.
And we're so glad to have you on the show, Jazzy. And before we touch on the painting, you said you've been dancing since you were 5, right?
Right.
So how did you get into dancing, and tell us a little bit about how dancing makes you feel? Like, what is so interesting about dancing to you that really attracts you to dance?
Well, I have an older sister. She started dancing when she was 3, and we're 2 years apart. So, of course, I can't remember that far back. Like, I don't even remember her first dance recital because I probably was a seed. But dancing came into my life because my sister did it. I was like always active. I was always moving. And then like my mom and dad put me in a dance school in East Orange, New Jersey, Marie Wildy. And then, and I don't really remember too much about Marie Wildy only because I was so young. So like your first dance recital when you're like 5, you're just like looking at the teacher on the sidelines, like, yeah, these are the moves. But I really started to get into dance when I went to Michelle Oxendine. That's also in Union, New Jersey. And I noticed that every time I danced, it was like a different beast in me. And I was also running track at the time, so I was like super strong. I'm still really, really strong. But when I danced, it just, between the hours of 6 to 8, I just was a different me. And then like I didn't really identify this different person until I got into a dance company in high school called the Special Dance Company at Columbia High School in New Jersey. And I just was studying different dancers like Lorian Gibson and the choreographers. And then eventually I started like choreographing my own pieces and moving to different songs. And every time I would hear a song, I would want to move to it. So it was like natural. And it just came natural. It wasn't like, I'm a dancer, so I have to get up and do this. Like, if I wanted to get my split every day, I would stretch to get the split. Right. Or if it was a dance move that was taught at dance class, I would go home and practice it. So I noticed like my work ethic to be better as a dancer just was more of a priority in my life. And it was important. And then like, I was always active. I ran track, I played softball. Like, I was always active, but dance was just my voice. It was like, and I was heard through my movement. And then I noticed that when I got older and people really started to see like, wow, Jazzy dances, people saw me and understood me differently verbally. Like, I can always verbally express how I feel, but through dance, people understood exactly what I was saying without words. And I thought that was really cool.
I get what you're saying. So what style of dance would you say that you're connected to the most?
Modern. A lot of dancers in Albanelli, which is based in New York, and Philadelphia, they do a lot of like modern ballet. I would consider that the style that I'm into because it's not. You have your technique, which is ballet, and then you have modern, which is more like this style that you kind of. For me, I make up my own movement, and it becomes a move. Okay. And then once you add passion and emotion to it, whatever headspace you're in, it becomes this modern, natural, organic move. And then you just go from there. It's really like a flow to modern. And I just love this style. It's just almost like you do like a swerve and then you follow it with another move. It's just like you're making up your own.
Now, does it go with a particular style, genre of music? What genres of music do you find to go best with? Because I know your modern dance would be different than another dancer's style of modern dance because, as you kind of explained, it's kind of so personal. It's more personal to that dancer. So for you, what would be the genre of music that really flows with your style of modern dance?
I would say, artists like, that's a good question. I would really say, I don't know if you've heard of like the internet, but their style of music has a lot of.
Oh, they're called the internet? I thought you were insulting me. Have I heard of the internet?
Oh, no. There's actually a group called the internet, and their music for me is I like different. Oh God, it's just so hard to explain the genre of music. That's just such a hard question for me because I can move to anything. You give me a beat and I could do it, but it has a flow to it, and I feel like once I hear it, I'm like, yeah, that's me. But there is a group called the internet, and their kind of form of music is just really, you can flow to it. You kind of feel like you're on a cloud. But
would you call it like neo soul?
Yeah, neo soul. Okay. I'm more like neo soul. That's me.
The comment section is open, of course. British already started off the comments. You can feel free to ask questions. Anything that you think I might miss to ask Jazzy, you can ask her any questions you would like to know more about her talents, as well as just drop comments like British just did. So you told us about like your style of music and kind of tried to explain the genre. Now, dancing, I guess you kind of already answered how it makes you feel to dance. It helps you express yourself, makes you feel free. But how do you go about, like, do you like make routines up and everything like that, or everything is just like kind of off the dome and you kind of just go with the flow, like you said earlier?
I think it depends how I feel. Lately, I've been, it's been more freestyle, and then I will, this is what I will do. I'll freestyle, I record it, I watch the recording, and then certain moves that I do, then I'll add that to choreography if I need to choreograph for a piece, or if I just want to make a video, like, cause if I'm feeling in a creative space, then I'll take the moves from the freestyle and then I'll actually just make up like a minute. But usually the freestyle sets the tone of the dance for me, and then I take the first move I see in the freestyle, and then I just, you know, go with that first move and then follow with it with something else.
So have you ever thought about choreographing dances for like I seen this on Instagram. For some reason it oddly came up as like a sponsored ad on my Instagram feed, and like there was someone who was like doing wedding choreography and like dances for couples. Have you ever thought about like, you know, doing choreographed dance for couples or people seeking routines and stuff like that?
Yeah, I guess that door hasn't opened yet, but I'm so open to doing that. You know, for weddings, I feel like it's more like a shuffle, you know, a group, because I'm not about to bust down in a split and be like, come on guys, let's do.
Yeah, it's getting more and more popular where the couple, like, they like to do something fun, like as their entry, they might do like a fun dance where it's not as formal as a shuffle.
Add a little two-step, everybody can two-step.
Right, everybody can two-step.
Everybody can two-step.
You can add a little sauce to the two-step.
You got yourself a dance.
Yeah. So,
but in terms of actually teaching classes or getting into different events like that, I love that. I love that. Like, kids are my calling. I just connect with kids. You know, I love them. They are our future. They really are. Right. And they're so creative. Everyone's creating. I feel like as a creative, we're taking over the world. We really are. Like, we really, really are. And no one really knows it, but everyone is trying to have their own business. So it's just, and it's important to follow that passion, because then you'll go through this lifetime being so unhappy, and then that unhappiness spreads throughout the world. And who wants that type of energy? Right. So, oh yeah, well, her name is Yazzie Mojo. You can follow her on Instagram. Okay. She is amazing. Her voice is my type of genre. I don't know how you would label that, but her music, her vibe is what I can move to. It has a certain flow to it, and which is my type of flow of dance. I would identify that as modern, but a lot of people would say something different, you know. But it allows me to be free. It allows me to be unapologetic in that moment through my movement. But for that experience for me, it was just really humbling, because I've never done it before. So I had to figure out, it was such a small space. I mean, I figured it out. I could figure out anything. But it was such a small space, and it was really interesting to see how the audience reacted to her voice, and then how the audience reacted to me moving. Because there's a lot going on in one performance. You're like, oh my God, this is a great dancer. Oh my gosh, she has a beautiful voice. So it's just like really confusing, but it flows. And I feel like once you find the dancer that matches your voice, the performance just becomes one. And then eventually you see the individual as the individual. Like, all right, I'm gonna need a dancer for an event. Oh, I'm gonna need a singer. Oh, boop, you guys are a match. Right. And then both parties are happy. So experience for me was really cool. It was new. I improv'd that because it was my first time doing it, and I had only heard the song a couple times before that. So I just wanted to test the waters, see how it it would go, and it actually went really well. Like, I love dancing with her, and she's actually performing at my art show, so I'll be dancing with her again.
Yeah, I saw you with the Afro-Caribbean collaboration with Koba too. That was I was excited when I saw that. That was very full of energy.
I had so much fun doing that.
Yeah. So
and that's what it's about too. Like, you should have fun. You should really like. Don't get me wrong. I love dancing, but if it starts to become like stressful, then you're really not. You're not. It just becomes work. Dance doesn't feel like work to me. It feels like it's just what I'm meant to do, and that's what I like doing. I feel like that's my purpose.
That's important. I think that's something that people, while watching this, if you're watching this, you should really take that out of everything. It doesn't matter what your talent is, what you like to do. Like Jazzy said, make sure it doesn't feel like work. Make it fun. Make it something that you really enjoy doing, because that's true what they say. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. That's very true.
It's like and I'm actually starting to believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not there fully because, of course I still work, the regular hours of the day, but eventually, I would love to be an entrepreneur and do what I'm really supposed to do. But we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you all got to start somewhere, but the goal is to take full control of your life, I'm sure. So what's a collaboration that you're really like, if you could collaborate with another dancer, it could be a singer, just like the first collaboration we were talking about. What's a collaboration that you would really be looking forward to right now?
I really want to dance to classical music. I actually just reached out to, I cannot remember her name, and I wish I knew it right now, but she plays the cello, I believe, like all throughout Philly and New York.
Okay. And
I just started following her not too long ago, and I've been like watching her, and her passion, like just people who play instrument. Like, I'm really starting to get into a live sound and moving to a live sound. People like seeing people and in what they're doing. When it comes to the performing arts, they like to see, not only hear it, but they like to see it. And that's what I feel like I'm realizing. Like, I can hear a song and naturally my body's like, yeah, or, for my show, I have a band. I played a song for him. He plays the keys. I played a song for him. He went right up to the speaker and was like, yeah, like, I like people that can get into their zone in their own way that they create, whether it's, but I want to try classical music. I've never danced to anyone in that realm. And that's something I want to do. I've never done it like on the street. I want to try that. Like, I want to try that. Yeah.
I'll be looking for it. I'm pretty sure that would be dope too. Is the artist's name, I know you said you forget, but is her name Bree Black? Something like that?
I don't know. It starts with the A.
Oh, okay. Because there's another cello player that I thought that was her. She actually plays in the same areas that you were talking about, like New York, Philly, back and forth.
And I have no issue with reaching out. I'm like, hey, I'm a dancer, and you're awesome. So
that's how it should be.
Let me do it.
So allow us to switch gears and let's talk a little bit about the painting side of your talents. How did you get into painting, and when did you discover that it was something that you were good at?
So when I was after Cheney, I graduated, and then I got a job in graphic design, which didn't last for very long, with reasons why I don't do it anymore. But I got a job at the Performance Learning Center in Southwest, and I got hired as an art teacher. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, what? What am I gonna do? Like, I do graphic design, I do photography, but that's all digital. Like, I don't know how to draw. And then, mind you, the school I was working at was like a non-traditional high school. So my students were between the ages of 16 and 22, and they have been through more life than I ever had. 23 years at the time I was 23, and so I was like, I don't know, I am from a suburban area. So, and these are all inner city kids. So them looking at me, they're like, what you about to teach us? And you can't even draw? Like, they was like, are you going to last for like 2 weeks? They really tested me. And I was like, Dad, like, what am I going to do? So two friends, my close friend, Boomy, I grew up with, and Elijah, who I later met down the line. And they both were abstract painters and sculptors and doing their own thing in art. So they had actually they've really been like mentoring me this entire time and really helping me, told me like, hey, look up this artist, look up that artist, study them or add your own twist to it. So once I started to look up abstract artists, being that I couldn't draw, because you don't really have to draw to be an artist or a painter. So I looked up, I forgot what the artists were. I don't even remember who I looked up, but I just remember trying to connect abstract to their lives. A lot of my students have been through like traumatic experiences.
Right.
So like a lot of them were really broken, I feel. A lot of them had a lot of emotion. And so this hard shell of theirs was really just like a guard. But inside they had such big hearts and they were such lovers and they were such feelers. They didn't want that. They don't want anyone to know that side of them. So I feel like once they got comfortable with me and once I like stayed, they were like, oh, like she's staying. So like, let's take her somewhat serious. And then I did an activity. First I did open mic with them, which they really, really liked because it allowed them to be their true authentic selves. They were allowed to use profanity to a certain extent. Right. Some of them were rappers, some of them were poets, some of them had never even stood up in front of a crowd and said words, like just standing and talking. Wow. So that was cool. And then I added the art part to it. So I said, think of a really traumatic experience in your life. And I told them to like write down words that describe that traumatic experiences and then use those words to draw different lines. Because I feel like words trigger movement. So let's say pain, and they may take the paintbrush and go hard on a diagonal with the color red. That for them, it was a part of their healing. And it worked out. A lot of them were super open. They, and then once they painted their stories and they wrote about it. And then that's how I got into it. And then I did it myself because I'm like, well, let me talk about, how I lost my mom at a young age. And I started painting. I started doing something. And then I was working with Kyle Morris. He was a dean of students there. Right. And he was like, Jazzy, like, you could paint. I was like, oh, nah, bro. Just flinging it off. But then I started actually going to Michael's and like buying supplies, and I was just doing it for fun and recording it on Snapchat because like Snapchat was still like really popular. Right. Like it kind of still is, but whatever. And then when your frat brother was like, yo, how much is this? I said, wait, what? Wait. I was just doing this for fun, man. Like what? And then he gave me, I was like, oh, just give me $20 for it. And then Boomy and Elijah were like, what? Are you stupid? Why would you ever? Like, that's luck. But, they're artists. So they're like, girl, like, this is good. And then he ended up giving me $50. And I was like, oh, my God, I paint. And I just continued to do it. And then eventually I got into layering. I got into textures. I got into just different things that now define who I am now. Right. And it's super therapeutic. When I say I'm angry and that's the only thing that's going to get me out of my funk, I didn't even know it was that powerful. And then I found out my great grandmother paints. Like she doesn't paint, she passed away, but she used to paint, and I found all of her paintings in the attic, like literally weeks ago.
Wow. Isn't it funny how like your life was just like directed in a way for like it was meant for you to discover that hidden talent of yours, but it was like you weren't going to just discover that just by like one day, hey, I'm going to discover it. Like your life was directed in a manner where you had to discover it bit by bit by bit.
I know when I'm off. I'm really in tune with myself now, especially the chapter that I'm in my life right now, where I know where I'm like, okay, Jazz, you're lacking off. Which before I had so much else going on, and I didn't. It was like, oh, should I dance today? Like I would question myself.
Right.
No, if you're feeling some type of way, go home and dance.
Right.
If you're feeling some type of way, go home and paint. You know, if you're okay with where you are right now, then chill out, give yourself a break. But it's just, I'm still learning along the way. I have a lot to learn, even just about the business aspect of being a creative.
I'm gonna say this with my indoor voice because I don't want anybody to hear me. But you should try paint, like having a combination of painting and dancing, since you do both.
Yeah, so it's crazy that you just said that because I tried to do that.
Oh, really?
It was fire as heck. I went live with it. I don't think I saw you join it. It's okay because I did it late at night. But a friend of mine was like, I have a challenge for you. And he said, I want you to paint and dance. And it needs to be like under, I think he said like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, something like, I think it was under 30 minutes. And you have to do the first layer of your painting. And I just put on like a couple songs and I just started moving and I paint. I kind of want to show you what I did. I was painting and dancing. I only did it once. I haven't really done it again after that. But it was so cool. And I didn't realize and it flowed. I didn't even feel like I was trying. It just really just flowed. And it was really cool. Hold on, I'm gonna show you what it looks like now.
Okay. So I see a lot of different colors. I'm gonna try and guess what types of songs you're listening to from looking at these colors.
Okay.
So were you listening to maybe you had one song that might have been like some kind of Erykah Badu or some kind of Lauryn Hill in there?
Okay.
Maybe, yes?
Oh, well, not them two in particular, but I had Maxwell.
Oh, okay.
I had Maxwell. I had Miguel. I had like one slow song, I think Usher.
Okay.
And what else did I dance to that day? I think that was it. It was a lot. Yeah, I think that was it. It was that was Erykah Badu's song in there. It was.
I get mellow vibes from it when I look at it. That's why I guess like Erykah.
And I was in a happy space. So the colors were like, blue. I think gold just represents it's a royalty color. You just feel like on top of the world every time you make something. And so that's why gold is my signature color.
Okay.
With everything. I always add a little red in there. I don't know what the red represents. I haven't really figured that out yet. I feel like it's because on the outside everyone's like Snazzy Jazzy, happy, skipping through fields of flowers. But like inside I have a lot of emotion. Some are angry, some are regret, some are love, some are hurt. And I feel like red represents like the real me. Red represents the real me. Okay. So yeah, I love to do it. It's just, and people should know that. That's why I started the Dear Diary thing. Because I feel like someone asked me a question. They said, "Who are you off of social media?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, who are you off of social media?" Because you could be hurting, you could be really depressed, and then you post some happy stuff, and everyone thinks you're happy, and you're not. Why lie to the world? Because when you're home and you're writing in your diary, you're not going to tell your diary that you're happy when you're really hurting. So why not let the world know who you really are? Now, there's layers to it. You just don't be out here just telling everybody everything. But there's other people in this world that are suffering and that are afraid to even have a voice. So why not try to be a voice for somebody else to help them find their voice? So that's what Dear Diary is for me. Like, I am my diary is to me, because you are your diary. Right. You're your inner thoughts, and you're too afraid to tell the world who you really are. So that's who I am through dance. That's who I am through painting, and that's who I am through my voice, which I'm currently finding. Well, actually, I found it, but yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that's special
for others who haven't found it.
Yeah, that gives a lot of it's creating a platform that, like you said, makes people feel comfortable to share like what they're going through, and to also, in a sense, see that they're not the only ones going through the same things that they may be experiencing. Just by seeing your Dear Diary post, some people may say, "Hey, I thought this was only happening in my life," or "Hey, I didn't know that this was going on." I think it's helpful that what you're doing with the Dear Diary. So tell us a little bit about the art show. I know you're excited about that.
Oh my gosh!
Tell us about the art show.
I'm so excited about this show. You have no idea. Like, I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. and be like, I have things to do. Oh my gosh. So this art show for me, I've been trying to do. Do you know how many people have told me, oh, you need to have your own art show, you need to do this, you need to do that? And it took for people around me to start getting into their purpose for me to like really get up off my butt, because everyone else was like started to become busy, and I'm doing this show, I'm doing this, I'm getting this opportunity, I'm getting that opportunity, and I'm home meanwhile painting and dancing, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I should be out here doing that too. But I guess it just took for like people my friends, all of us, we love each other so much, but we all have branched off into our own purpose. And I think for me, I was like, well, I want to find mine, and I want to do that. So I started going to this event. It's every other Thursday. Called the Jam Session, hosted by the Global Village. Follow them; they are amazing, like amazing. Like, they really have changed my life. So it's just like this community of artists and free people that they're allowed to just be, like, just be. And whatever that is. And for me, it was dance. So they had this live band, and then it was like one jam, I got up and I just started dancing. Like, I just went off. I started looking at venues. I know I just started doing and stopped talking about it. Started doing it. Because you're not going to start. And then the power of writing things down has really been beneficial for me. I made a vision board. I made a vision board almost 3 months ago, and on my vision board it said, have an art show by summer 2018, and now I can take something off of my vision board, which I have never done. I've never been able to do that. So I found a venue within a month. I found a venue, artist and throughout that time I was going to Global Village, I was meeting other artists who do amazing things. And I said, hey, like, would you like to perform? And they were like, yeah, I just need a platform. A lot of these artists out here, they just need a platform. Some of them, like, you got to do certain things for free, and in order to get, like, to paid events. You'll get there, and I know I'll get there eventually too. But there's a lot of artists out here are just trying to perform. They just want to perform, and they want people to know who they are. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, just give me a stage and an audience, and I will move. And then our show. Seriously, so my art show for me right now is exciting. I finally get to tell the world, like, this is who I am, and then I get to have other artists that I love that are a part of my show to let the world know who they are. And I'm just like, yeah, let's do this together. Let's do it.
Hey, we got some good comments for you. Dr. TJ just tuned in not too long ago. Said vision boards. I guess vision boards is something that he does and gets into himself. Also, great mentality. You're gonna be very successful. So we got people.
She'll be performing at my art show. She's awesome.
Okay, Rugrat. She said, "Hey." So, what will Rugrat be doing at the art show?
She is a rapper, but she has look. Y'all have to come see her. Y'all just have to come. She has this vibe, and you just fall like you just fall into her words and her flow. That's what when I first saw her perform, I drifted. So she made me drift into what she was saying, and I was like, I want her. She is what I want. I'm excited. I really, really hope people come out. It's pay what you wish, so ultimately it's a free event. I just want an audience. I just want people to come see what I've been working on, what I've been working hard on, and see other artists who are also having their own vision and their projects going on. But I wanted them to be a part of my dream. So here I am.
And you're gonna have like art displayed and everything. Meanwhile, having live entertainment and everything like that.
Yeah, so there'll be a live band. I'll have at least 5 to 10 pieces just displayed. If people want to buy them, that's open. But for now, it's just they're just for display. Like, if you want to buy it, of course, we'll talk business after. But they're just for display, just so you see what I'm working on while I'm dancing. With certain performances, I'll be painting. So. But with the Rugrat, I'll be dancing with her. But the next performance, there'll be another dancer, and I'll be painting with her. So each act I'm in, but I'll be doing something different.
Wow, this is something big that like. This is very different. I'm not even sure if anything like this has been. When I hear art show, and I'm sure a lot of people who aren't familiar with that space, art show, a lot of people just think you have some wine and some cheeses, and people walking around just looking at paintings and stuff like that, but you've added such a different twist to the concept of art shows and what it actually can be. I think that's important. So tell us about like the planning progress for you. So like what, after you found your venue and you knew that this was going to be a thing, what came first, the venue, or you started looking for acts and so forth and so on?
So after this show, I feel like I want to keep the momentum. Because everyone has their first show, and then they just stop. I mean, I think that goes into like everything that you do. Like, oh, I wrote my first poem, and then you just stop. Or I just performed for the first time in front of strangers, and then you kind of just stop. I want artists to continue to create, continue to keep the momentum, because it'll go somewhere. People like consistency.
Yeah.
People like consistency. Oh my goodness. I'm noticing that about myself. I'm way more consistent than I used to be. I was like, I'm just gonna like paint this now and then like come back to it 6 months later. Like, girl, what you doing? So I want to make I Am My Diary a series. That's the goal. Now, I don't have everything planned out. I'm still really writing raw thoughts out, just like how this show was just a raw thought. But I want I Am My Diary to be a thing for dancers. Dancers do not have platforms. We're just out here like, oh, let me try to get into this company, which is a standard. With companies, a lot of these companies look for younger dancers because they're more flexible or they're more this. I want to create a community for dancers where the audition is not always a thing. Because there's people out here that can actually dance, but they just need like a little push. They need like a little bit, technique here and there. But I feel like once let's say you go to an audition and someone says, oh, you're not what we're looking for, then you doubt yourself. I've been to auditions. I mean, I performed at Apollo, and just based off of, it was, I would have made it to the next round, but it was based off how many people you brought and how many people screamed louder for certain acts.
Oh, wow.
People loved me, but the fact that I didn't have as much people there as the singer, that was also great. But like ultimately, I should have, of course, I should have made it to the next level. But because she brought more people and it was an audition, then she won and she made it to the next level. So I'm like, dag, I don't want it to be that way, because then that as a dancer, as a creative, that makes you feel like, oh dang, I'm not good enough.
Right.
But you are. Like, you really are, and you're really, and I'm really great. And other people are really great too, but people don't know about them. So I want to make that. I want people to be seen. I really want people to be seen. That's really what's in my heart, and everyone deserves to shine. Everyone deserves to shine. That's just my mentality.
So
yeah, because I want to shine, and I want others to shine with me, and then shine individually, and so forth.
And so TJ asked a question about your art. He asked if that's a piece of yours in the background. So TJ,
yes, it is, y'all.
Tell us a little bit about it again, because TJ joined in a little bit late, and you have some other folks that tuned in a little late. So tell them about that painting and what prompted you to creating that piece.
I painted this. I was in a really, really bad space, like really negative. It was super negative, and you wouldn't even know because it's so colorful. But I call this piece Negative Space because and at the time I was like, thought I was in love, and I really wasn't. And it was just, I just thought I was many things that I wasn't at the moment. And I call it Negative Space because there were a lot of spaces in between that situation that were unanswered questions. And for me, and I used bright colors because in that moment I was still happy with the person. I was like, oh, I'm in love, this is awesome, this is great. And it really wasn't. Inside I was empty. And there's a lot of, and that's why I call it Negative Spaces, because there's a lot of things that weren't filled, and I wasn't filled in it. And I ended up like letting those feelings go, and now it just hangs on my wall, and I'm just reminded that I'm no longer there. And that's what art is for me. I look at certain pieces, I'm like, dang, I was mad happy, or dang, I was really angry. And I'm like, whoa, like, shout out to you, because you're no longer there. And now I can sell it, and I'll be okay with giving it away. Because like I'm healed. I'm okay. So that's what art does for me.
So guys, ask right, like as I mentioned earlier, the comment section is open. As we're wrapping up, feel free to ask any questions that you think I might have missed with Jazzy. And Jazzy, my last question for you is, while we're letting people get those last minute questions in, my last question for you is, I ask this every week, and it's the red pill or the blue pill. So judging my personality, I'm sure a lot of people are already expecting what the answer is going to be. But if you had one pill that you had to take, the red pill or the blue pill, the red pill, you go forward 10 years and you have $5 million liquid in your bank account. Or you take the blue pill and you go backwards 10 years, but you know everything that you know now. Which pill would you take?
Forward, you said?
Yep, forward, and then $5 million, and then the blue pill is backwards, and you have, you know everything that you know now.
Oh my gosh, this is a good question. Oh snap! Wait, okay. So if I go forward 10 years, and I don't know anything though.
Well, you just skip. You're skipping 10 years. You don't know what happened within that 10 years, but you do have $5 million.
I have $500.
$5 million.
Billion. I'm a billionaire. What? Okay.
A millionaire. Million.
Oh my gosh. I'm stuck. I've never felt this way. Okay. I would go. I'm gonna just say this, and I don't know if I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna just go with my gut. I low-key would take the blue pill because that way I know everything, right? And then I can teach somebody else who needs mentoring or who needs that push. Because the blue pill is like, dang, I'm going backwards, but you're really not going backwards. You're really going forward, and you get to help somebody else. So boom. Yep. I'll go with the blue pill, yo.
That's an interesting way of looking at it too. You said no, you're not technically going backwards, but you're moving forward.
Yeah.
And you just bought yourself some more time.
That's a good question. Wow, that's great. That's great.
We got some people, we got some comments. Nothing wrong with being emotional. Rugrat, she said blue too. She said she'll be rich for the fact that she'll know the outcome. She'll know the outcome of every sports game if you go back. So we know Rugrat is gambling. Rugrat is automatically going back, and she's starting to gamble on all the sports games. And Miss AK85, she said, I saw somewhere that she's having a show to display her artwork. Oh, yeah, so you just missed us. We were talking about the art show. So Jazzy, just real quick, as we wrap up the show, sum up what the art show is, where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and, you know, tell us something that you're most excited about the art show.
Okay, so my art show is Sunday, July 29th. It's from 4 to 7. And it will be expression through movement and through live performances. So it'll be a lot of movement, a lot of music, loud, and expression. And every performance tells a story. Also, there'll be vendors there, like refreshments, not too much. And it's at the Broad on Mifflin. I believe that's South Philly.
The Broad.
The flyer is on my Instagram at Snazzy Jazz. So if you follow me, I just posted actually yesterday all the performers, where it's going to be, and what I'll be doing. So if you want to follow me, it'll be on there. Also, what I'm excited about, it's called I Am My Diary. I hope they got the explanation of that, but if they didn't, it's basically me telling my story in human form. That's a good way of putting it. And I'm excited. What I'm looking forward to is, honestly, I just want to be, and I want people to see me in my element, in my, like, hardcore, you know, because when I'm dancing, I don't see anything. I'm just being my true self. Like, if I was to stand in the mirror and start dancing, I just want people to see me for who I am, what I do. And hopefully that it goes off from there. Because I feel like when you are in your purpose and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in your heart, even though others may not agree, because money is you know, it's hard to get money, and, you know, but you got to start somewhere. So I'm just happy to be there. I'm happy this is happening, and I'm happy people love me and support me enough to come.
I wish I could come, but, you know, I'm all the way down here.
So upset you can't be there, but it's all good.
I'm gonna try and send my mom there so she can take pictures. I'm gonna try and send my mom so she could get some pictures and everything like that.
Yes, please tell her to come. Tell her to come.
Yeah, she's actually asked you right there. She's asking you about it now. She said she's gonna follow you. Yeah, she's gonna get it. I'm sure she's gonna be there. 7/29. And for everybody else, look out for the art show, July 29th, Sunday at the Broad. On Mifflin.
The address is on
the flyer.
Yeah.
So follow Snazzy Jazz on Instagram at Snazzy Jazz, and you can actually just click her name. She's on the live right here. Also put her @name in the comments. So, you know, if you're interested in going and you want that flyer, go check her out at Snazzy Jazz. Again, Jazzy, it's been lovely having you on the show, and I loved hearing about your art show and everything you're excited about. I will mention you should when we get off, send me a video of you doing that live performance with the singer, and so I can include that on the YouTube video when I put this on YouTube tomorrow. Okay. All right. Everybody else, this is Talented Tuesdays, brought to you by the GoldenKey Foundation, developing leaders one step at a time. My name is QuiySpeaks, aka Mr. 215 to 305, and you all have been great. I thank you for your comments and your questions. TJ, Miss AK85, everybody else like that. And Jazzy, again, special round of applause to you. I appreciate you for getting on the show and joining us tonight.
Yes, I appreciate you too. This is great. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm just so happy for Thank you.
Okay, and we are right on time because Instagram telling me I got a minute left anyway. So we are right on time. Again, Jazzy, thank you, and I'm gonna let you know once it's on YouTube, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Everyone have a great night.
Bye.
The steps that you take when you're hearing all the thoughts in the space, the gift of your grace, Promise me you won't float away.